Hello, I'm Abby from Sutton Schoolswork. Welcome to our assemblies online. Each week we're going to be sharing a Bible story, a thought about what it means for Christians, a few questions for you to think about, and a challenge for the week ahead. So, are you sitting comfortably? Let's begin. This term, our assemblies are all about fruit, the fruits of the Spirit. Each assembly, we are looking at one or two of these qualities which we want to see in our lives. Today's assembly is about faithfulness and gentleness. What do you think it means to be faithful? Are you a faithful friend? What does gentleness mean? Are you gentle towards other people? Let's play a game. Today, it's an animal quiz. What is the slowest animal in the world? How many legs does a lobster have? Which animal never sleeps? How many bones do sharks have? What do you call a group of lions? How did you do? Today's Bible story features a pride of lions. Let's find out what happens.
Daniel was living in Babylon. Some people there were very wrong, but 3 times a day Dan stopped and prayed. It helped him to feel less afraid. Daniel was honest, wise and fair. He worked real hard with lots of flair. King Darius was most impressed. He chose Dan over all the rest. The other men were very jealous.
We'll not have this here, Daniel, tell us.
What to do? So they began to hatch a low and wicked plan.
The king should pass a proclamation outlawing prayer across the nation. Then all the people should give praise to the king alone for 30 days. If anyone should disobey, they'll be arrested straight away and thrown into the lion's den. That'll be the end of them.
Darius was extremely flattered. He did not think that praying mattered. He signed the law then and there. It didn't seem the least unfair. Now Daniel still prayed every day. This had always been his way. The plotters spied him with no trouble.
We've got him now. We'll burst his bubble.
They called Darius out with glee, spreading their hands and saying,
See?
Too late he recognised the plot. He was already hooked and caught. Darius was angry and alarmed, for he did not want Daniel harmed. But once the law had been signed, he could no longer change his mind. Daniel was taken down the steps to where the pride of lions slept. The soldiers left him there alone and blocked the entrance with a stone. Soon the lions were on their feet. It was long past their time to eat. When Daniel stepped into the pit, The lions thought, this is it. The chief of lions had the right to take the first delicious bite. His mane stood up so big and hairy, his eyes were bright, his jaws were scary. His shoulders were both broad and strong, his back was wide and lean and long. He was a wild and rugged beast, and he was ready for a feast. But Daniel was quite free from fear, because he knew that God was near. He stood there tall, prepared to die, and looked that lion in the eye. The lion looked Daniel up and down. His face wore a bewildered frown. He stared about him, searching, gazing. He found the whole thing quite amazing. At last the lion dropped his glare. He pawed the ground and sniffed the air. He shook his head, gave one long yawn, and settled down to sleep till dawn. Daniel knelt and prayed a while, thanking God with a quiet smile, then gave a sigh and, breathing deep, snuggled up and went to sleep. But Darius did not sleep a wink. He was so upset he couldn't think. When morning came, he called his men and hurried to the lion's den. He called out loud in fear and dread.
Daniel, are you there?
He said. Daniel called back loud and clear.
God has saved me. I am here.
The king, of course, was overjoyed. The plotter's plan had been destroyed. The soldiers moved the stone away, and there was Daniel. Hip hooray!
These lions are starving,
Darius said.
Let them eat these rogues instead.
And that was how those wicked wretches were punished for their schemes and sketches. And here is how the story ended. The law was at once suspended. Instead, wherever people prayed, Daniel's God would be obeyed. So when you think about Daniel, remember how he was faithful. The lions too, who'd have guessed, showing the fruit of gentleness.
Question time. Why were the governors jealous of Daniel? What did the law say you mustn't do? What happened to Daniel in the lion's den? Christians believe that God has the greatest importance in their lives. By choosing to follow Jesus, we make a commitment to be faithful to Him, always, no matter what. To be faithful to someone means to be authentic and true. Faithfulness comes from a place of trust and loyalty. Sometimes it can be difficult to be loyal and dependable, to show our friends and family faithfulness at all times, in all situations. But it's a good thing to aim for. Christians believe that God is always faithful. He will always be there and will never let us down. We can always trust Him. The Bible says, "Understand that the Lord your God is the faithful God, who for 1,000 generations keeps His promises and constantly loves those who love Him and who obey His commands." In the Bible story, Daniel knew that the law said he should not worship God, but he chose to put God first in his life. He trusted God and remained faithful to Him. Daniel knew how fierce and ferocious hungry lions could be, and yet, even facing death, he remained loyal to God. It's natural for hungry lions to attack, but God protected Daniel. The lions showed gentleness and did not harm him. Sometimes we might feel tired, hungry, or irritable. It's not always easy to show gentleness. Your challenge: show faithfulness to your friends and family this week. Make an effort to be gentle towards other people. Thank you for joining us for our assembly today. Next week is our last assembly on the fruits of the Spirit. Can you work out which fruit we haven't covered yet? Self-control. Next week, our assembly will be about self-control. See you then. Bye.